welcome back. We're in our final example of section 7.4. I think you're breezing through it and doing a great job, I'm sure, picking up on strategies that we've employed for solving these very complicated trinomials. Now, what makes example 4 different is that the leading coefficient is negative. That's what's going to make this a little bit tricky, maybe cause you a little bit of anxiety, because I know some of you don't like those negative signs, but we're going to work through them and I'm going to show you how to handle these, okay? So let's look at A. I'm gonna do A and B with you, and I'm going to leave C for you to do as extra credit, and I'll give you a point if you can do it. Let's look at A. Now remember, our game plan doesn't change. We're going to multiply -2 times -7, and that's going to give us a positive 14. I need factors of 14 that add up to be -15. Because I need the negative factors, I need to put both sets down. So 14 and 1, -14 times -1. 7 times 2, and -7 times -2. And that's really it. So very limited list, but only one of those actually adds up to be -15. So hopefully right away you saw that -14 and -1 is going to give you that -15 we're after. Okay, so let's drop down the -2x squared, and let's put -14x minus 1x, and then we'll drop down that -7 here. We've created that 4-term polynomial, all done intentionally so we can factor by grouping. So let's go ahead and do just that. Now with a leading coefficient that's negative, I normally pull out negative numbers. So let's pull out a -2x as our GCF, and that's going to leave behind an x plus 7. And then let's do the same thing with the -1x and -7. Let's pull out a -1, and that's also going to leave behind x plus 7. And then here we are. Here's your common binomial, and what's left behind goes into its own quantity. So see, really, we can take care of these negative signs with very little anxiety. I think the bigger the numbers get, that's probably where your blood pressure starts rising. So let's look at letter B, and we're going to do the same thing. Let me just show you the strategy again. We're going to do -6 times -12, which is positive 72. And I'm going to list out my factors of 72, but they have to add up to be -17. So we'll start with 1 and 72, and then we'll do the negatives for that. We've got 2 and 36. And so far I haven't noticed -17 just yet. 3, let's see, yeah, 3 goes in there 24 times. And 4, I think 4 times, what, 18? 5 doesn't work. 6 and 12. And I think we're getting close. 7, how about 8? 8 times 9 is 72. There we go. I think we just found our two that add up to be -17, then -8, and then -9. So we're going to drop down that -6x squared. We're going to rename -17x as -8x and -9x, and then we're going to drop down our -12. Because we created a 4-term polynomial, we can factor by grouping. And so let's pull out a -2x. That's going to leave us with 3x and positive 4. And let's do it again. Pull out a -3, and that's going to we'll leave behind a 3x and a positive 4 as well. So that looks really good. We have our common binomial. We'll pull that out, and then what you're left with is those two binomials. So that's really the long and the short of it. Now, I think your book does go one step further. I will show it to you on this example. This is a very good answer. I would take that all day long on a test. Now, sometimes what I've seen is they'll take any leading coefficients that are negative, and they'll say, well, we don't want a coefficient that's negative. We want to pull out a -1. Remember what I told you that -1 does when you pull it out? It changes the signs of both of the numbers. So if I pull a negative 1 out of that negative 2x minus 3 quantity, we're going to be left with negative 1 times positive 2x plus 3. And so this is an alternative answer that you could possibly see on a multiple choice test. And I definitely wanted to make sure I showed that to you. These answers are equivalent. They mean the same thing. And I just want to make sure that there's some recognition in that answer. So bring your questions tomorrow. Try letter C. See what you can do with it. See if you can put both the regular answer and the alternative answer down. And let me check that for you tomorrow. I'll give you a point for that one. Thanks for viewing.